Suzy, Roseanne, Mariam, Gayan, Anna, Diana, Elena.
4-year-old Elena, with some difficulty, but still manages to remember the names of all of her 7 sisters, even though with a little help from one of them. Her petite fingers are enough to count all her sisters, but the number of rooms and beds in their house is not, to say the least.
There is no bed for us to lie down.
The large family lives in the village of Maisyan in Armenia's western Armavir province, in a very small, narrow, half-dilapidated and damp house made with stones and sand. The family gathers in what they themselves call a balcony to have dinner, or, if it is children, do their homework. It is here that they receive guests, have rest and hide from the scorching sun. Besides 8 children, this small house also gives shelter to 2 pets, a dog and a cat. Lately there are also new dwellers here. Swallows have decided to build their nest under the roof.
In the morning at 6 they start singing, waking us up.
Taguhi wakes up early in the morning because of these twittering swallows. The woman, who is aged around 40 and has partly grey hair, loses count as she speaks about the needs and cares of her large family. She remembers that she used to live in a tent for 4 years before getting this residence as a gift, and now this hut is also agonizing.
We have lived in this hut since 1994. In the past we didn't have either water or electricity. We would go hungry for days. No one would help us.
Taguhi, surrounded by her daughters, cannot speak without tears. Her little daughter wipes the tears off her mother's eyes. Others get emotional too.
I have seen a lot of hardship in raising my children. We buy grass, fuel, everything needs to be purchased. During cold days I would take the children to our bed and would keep them there until the evening.
Unlike the family members, the domestic appliances received as aid do not stand the dampness and often break down.
This fridge was granted to us as aid. It worked for 1 season. Now it is out of order, like the oven. This is our 3rd oven. It keeps getting out of order because of this dumbness, the rains. We had a washing machine that we got from someone as aid, but it broke down in winter because of this dumbness. It's not easy to do laundry for 10 people by hand.
Taguhi, a mother of 8, says she gave birth to all the babies she'd conceived in order to avoid committing a sin. Now, though, she says she feels twice as guilty.
I grew religious after I gave birth to Mariam, and abortion is considered a sin. But when I look now and see that my children have no clothes to wear, are hungry, it seems an even bigger sin to me. You look around and see how your neighbors live and you ask, what is the reason? We are also human beings, we have arms and legs, we want to have jobs. After all, we gave birth to our children to see them achieve something in this life, but not to leave them hungry, thirsty, without clothes, so that they look at others and wonder why they ever were born.
A God-fearing woman, Taguhi still says she cannot reconcile with her destiny of being rich in children, but having to live in poverty.
I say, dear God, why it is that I'm having such a cruel destiny? Some people ask me why I needed so many children, why I gave birth to all of them.
A few chickens, a cow, and a government benefit are the main sources of income for the large family.
They took into account the fact that we had no home, no jobs, no sources of income, eventually assigning a monthly payment of 58,500 drams, about $145. Then Mariam came of age and they reduced it to 48,500 drams, which is approximately $120.
The roof leaks when it rains. This one had completely come off. My dad fixed it somehow. Some of my sisters read aloud. That's why I cannot focus and learn foreign languages or study mathematics.
Gayane, a 10th grade pupil, instead of solving mathematical problems, is solving the problem of getting something to eat at home. The 15-year-old's fingers have become skillful in knitting though. Every day she uses 6 platefuls of flour to bake 6 loaves of bread. Under the sun, with running cold water, Gayane is washing dishes, saying that water doesn't feel cold to her fingers. She has already got used to this cold water, as has she got used to other, virtually non-existent conditions.
True, the place is small, but I am very glad that I have the parents that I have and the sisters that I have.
Everyone in this large family, children or adults, dream of a house.
House. I want very much us to have a house where we all could have a normal life, like others do. House.
4 walls, nothing else. To have a house. It is 20 years that I am here and we have no house yet. I would like to have this half-constructed house. It is now up for sale. I'd like to have it and go on living here.
We can see the outside from inside the house, half-jokingly says Joseph, the father of 8 daughters. The Karabakh war veteran says even though he has no son, he has brought up all of his daughters in manly spirit and all of them are very brave girls.
True, I do not allow them to work hard physically, but they are manful by their mentality. I can leave them here for days and go to town without having to worry about them a bit.
Joseph, who takes pride in his daughters, says it is with their help that he recently acquired another piece of his wealth. A new well and its water appear to have brought new life to this family that has to live off a meager state benefit.
I used to have some 70 trees here, all dried out because of the absence of water. That's why we did it. No one in the village believed we would do that and have water.
No irrigation water had flown through this area for 12 years, but today, after 5 years of hard work by the father and his daughters, the water comes up from a 25-meter deep well.
I would myself pull it from beneath and get the bucket up. I didn't trust anyone apart from my own children to stand above my head. All these rocks have been dug out by my children. There was a rock that took us 5 days to move, but we eventually got the result.
It has already been a week since planted seedlings appeared in the farmland that had stayed uncultivated for years.
I planted whatever I had, a few pepper seedlings, some eggplants, and I guess that's all. We'll start planting trees next year.
The father of 8 believes that one day he will also recover his 70 fruit trees and get back to his feet.
I know that one day I will get back on my feet. It won't stay like this. We will put our efforts together and get back on our feet. I will be making things myself. I wouldn't live a single day if I didn't have faith.
Hadi.